thought a little deeply about this by Amditiba Iveshnasya. The Bhagavatam explains fear is caused when we, as we said, we turn away, we've turned away. So therefore even a small thing can give us great fear, even a small spider, even the dark. Become very susceptible to fear. Why? We forgot Krishna. We've forgotten Krishna. Krishna is Abhay. He's fear. Even fear is afraid of Krishna. So, if you're with Krishna, then there's no fear. When we're not with Krishna, we're full of fear. Even a small thing. There's phobias. You know how many phobias are there? Everything is a phobia. Now there's some phobia. Maybe you're going outside and some pigeon may land on your head. It's a phobia, you know? People are... The mind is very dangerous. When we live distinct from Krishna, anything will give you fear. So the only real solution is then turning the consciousness back to revert the vision. And that's why we need to invite Krishna into all aspects of our life. Not only some aspects, all aspects. Right now often we think, I have my little Krishna on this side, this part is okay, but here, this for me. This is what I need to do. This is also very important to me. Krishna, you stay on that side. So then we cannot ask the question why I'm not making more advancement. So fear is a very debilitating emotion. It's a very subtle thing, but the root is here, turning our consciousness away. So we need to reorient our concept of life. That's called Sambandha Gyan. The Ishvara, the Jiva, and the material nature. We have to see how all these are working. So maybe this is a relevant theme for this group because it's exams now, is that the idea? Yeah, it's exams, so we're feeling a little bit afraid. But also you said lazy. What did you mean by lazy? Or what does the topic mean by lazy?
Exam is there, but we sleep.
We're not worried about the exams?
We are worried about the exam. Worried, but at the same time sleeping.
But not doing it.
And not doing the hard work.
Procrastinations and just laying on the bed thinking about the exam, that we have to give the exam, but we are not able to stand up and go to study.
Yeah.
This is a good topic, but it's not the most Krishna conscious topic. It's a more exam conscious topic. So therefore I'm addressing the deeper aspect.
Yes.
Obviously you have to do your exams, you know. You have to, if you're in that...
Yeah, but same applies that like we have to chant our rounds.
Oh, okay.
We are sleeping in morning and we are lazy. We are sleeping on our bed for
We know we have to do chanting and more, but we are still scrolling the phone.
Scrolling and not hearing the lecture or reading Prabhupada books, but just wasting our time.
So for the exams we have to do our duty, so to speak. We have to, if we're a student, then we should take that seriously. Why? Because that will be our service to Krishna. And this stage of life is like a training. So somehow or other we have to do it. Somehow or other we have to perform well for our future. Then we were discussing some may take professional work, some may take ashram life. But in any case, we cannot be lazy. Lazy is like a... Lazy means I'm not inspired. The root is a spiritual thing. Because if we were really Krishna conscious, then even our exams we can be inspired about. Because at this stage of our life, it's a preparation for further service. It could be an inspiration if we're very inspired in Krishna consciousness. So somehow we have to dovetail everything we do in life and see the higher ultimate picture. Education is important, but it's not the most important. That's why it's not our main meditation. It's something we have to do, it's a duty. But the real exam we're worried about is this one. How to successfully use our human form of life. So yes, we can be lazy, we don't want to study. That's not such a great fault. But if we're lazy about spiritual life, that's a problem. Because that means that we are too much influenced by this material world. We're too much identifying with what society is telling us. And people who are completely ignorant are telling us. It's very subtle. The contamination starts from a very young age. Many of us even before we're born. samsaras are being impressioned. What is life about? What you should do? Be the best. Be the winner. All illusion. That's all bad advice. It's from very birth we're given so much advice from people they don't know what life is. They don't know. Do you want to take advice from a crazy person? So then we go to school, or you're just hanging out with someone else who's also your friends, they're also in ignorance. And the teachers, they're telling you what to do, what you should do with your life. They don't have transcendental knowledge. So it builds, and then you have a whole world, a whole planet. It's like robots, if people don't have transcendental knowledge. So that's like a strong influence in our intelligence. It's always weighing on us. Oh, what will they think? What should I doing? But here we need to free ourselves from that. He says many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, thus they all attained transcendental love for me. What's more important, all this or to know who we are? Is anything more important than to know really ultimately, I'm talking about the ultimate level who we are, because we're not this body, we're not this samskara, this intelligence, this mind. That's not us even. We hardly know who we are. We're like ghosts, like doing things but we don't know who we are, and we don't know who God is. So that's why we're suffering. He says many became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they attained love for me. So no matter where we go, it's a similar message, that the real only thing that will satisfy us is developing relationship with Krishna. And then it's up to us, how much do we want to explore that? It's like the door's open, how much do you want to go through? Just a little bit? Just take a peek? Some do that. They may take a peek for a year and then go somewhere else. Some people may say, wow, what is this? Some people may break open the door, jumping. It's a whole other world. You understand? The spiritual world's another world. We're stuck in this world. It's not a nice place. It's not very clean. People are not happy. People are sick, old, dying, death, disease. It's very dark, drab colors. It's a miserable place. Why do we want to stick around here? Why do we want to stay here and build some big plans here? There's another world that exists, the superior world, Paramgatim. And it's so blissful that we cannot even imagine. So that's why we're stuck, because we can't figure it out how wonderful it is there. So we have to just accept what the great souls say, how the acharyas explain this. Thus they all attain transcendental love for me. Love. It's coming down to love, yes. We love so many things. And now I see also in India, many people have their dogs. A lot of people. Before it was not as many, now it's coming up, because in the West everyone has dogs. How many people have dogs? We want some love. We're like dying if we don't have love. If the child doesn't get love, the child dies. So we need, but where can we get the love?
No.
You can't get from your wife. Yeah, it's not possible, because they're prakriti. To prakriti, they cannot experience real love. Only with the ashraya, the shelter, the Supreme Lord, He can give us real love. That's will satisfy us. We're mentioning also this verse, Yatma Suprasidati. Hoituki Bhakti, unmotivated, uninterrupted, it's the only thing that will fully satisfy the soul. So that type of love, that's what we're all seeking, in different ways, in our families, in even our work, our studies. Why are we doing it all? Anandamaya said we need pleasure. And what is that pleasure? It's love. So here, many persons, they got purified and they attained transcendental love for me. That's called Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. And that is our true nature. That's our true nature. So, I'm not sure if I'm addressing for for each of you something relevant or something meaningful.
Yes.
Maybe you have some particular questions or angles we can look at this also, because I don't unfortunately know you all so well. So it helps me to learn about you if you maybe ask any questions on your mind in relation to this.
Prabhuji, I have a question. Please accept my humble objection. Like you mentioned about that we should focus on our bigger target, the ultimate truth of our life. But how much it is reasonable to fear of these exams, like we will appear in the competitive exam? How much fear should be reasonable for such exam, or how much time should we devote?
I mean, you don't have to have fear. It's a choice. We shouldn't be motivated by fear. That's not a very strong motivator. It's not a very positive lifestyle. Whatever we do just because I'm afraid. We should do things out of a conscious desire. So how much fear should we have? Again, that's kind of a more academic question. I mean, that's kind of between you and your academic career, how important it is to you. For someone, it may be their whole life, and therefore their fear is very big. If someone is focusing deeply in spiritual life, then the fear is going away more. It doesn't mean they're irresponsible. We should be responsible, but they may not have the same material fear because we're experiencing a higher, experience in our bhakti. If we go deep in our bhakti, then we don't have to live on the material fear level. So bhakti is the solution for everything, because if you go deep in spiritual life, then the material difficulties of life, they don't affect you in the same way. They won't attack you. So this is important too, what you're doing. It's a very noble thing to be doing the academic work and also doing bhakti. It's very rare. So it's a very honorable thing, and it's not easy. You have to juggle a lot, you have to do both. So it's a very respectable that we're having, even coming here, discussing this is a very positive thing. So the academic side is important, but it should be kept in perspective, And I cannot give you too many academic secrets or formulas or things how you can do better on your exams. But hopefully we can try to keep it in perspective in terms of the bigger picture. And hopefully that will help us as a soul in our soul's evolution. Sometimes we get so caught in doing one thing that we forgot to step back and see the bigger picture of why I'm doing it. So this group, there's two levels. So some are devotees chanting 16 rounds and some are chanting 4 rounds. That's correct.
Variations.
Sorry?
Variations in chanting.
Yeah, that's good. Which ones are the 16 round group? Mostly 4 round group. Oh, that's very good. I speak sometimes a little strong, but don't take it the wrong way. Yes, 4 rounds. I remember when I was chanting 4 rounds. It's a very good experience. It's a little. Sometimes we wonder why I'm chanting or how to go deep in the chanting. It should not just be a ritual, just to do it. It's meant to be a deep connection. But for that, then we have to also know about Krishna, because we're chanting His name. If I chant your name, if I know about you, it's better than if I don't. I'm just chanting some name, I don't know who it is. So you'll find if you read a little bit of Krishna book, Krishna's pastimes every day, then whose name you're chanting will become more clear. said that Lord Ananta, he's chanting the Lord's glory since time immemorial, and he's never getting tired, because there's so much nectar, there's so many amazing qualities of God that it is never, it's not fresh, it's always fresh, it's ever fresh. So Krishna consciousness is actually always fresh, it's just whether or not we can tap into it. Like the kirtan, you know, that's a chance where we can really enter into a spiritual experience. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, so we need those kind of experiences more and more. It's like a doorway to allow us to enter into that world. Otherwise we have so many other doors in the classrooms and the university, we're going all through doors. But that door is the most important, it's the main door, you know. So, yeah, these things are important, but the main thing is the spiritual experience. And in the beginning there's so much mercy also, you know, everything is very wonderful, and that we need to keep, don't become familiar. Think that, oh, okay, I know what chanting is, I've read Bhagavad Gita, I know I like prasad, same rice dal, okay. That's the mind kicking in, you know, material mind, it becomes habituated to something, and it just takes it like normal. Like, actually life is so amazing itself, but we just got used to it, so we're not so fascinated anymore. The way the human body works, everything, we just take it, no, it's a miracle. Everything is really a miracle, but we got used to it. So Krishna consciousness, we want to appreciate every aspect of it, because it's pretty beyond our ability to understand even now. So we keep it all with great respect, all the aspects, chanting, hearing, remembering, serving, deities. We should always keep it in the proper respect. Anyone else like to ask?
We were talking about attachment, being free from attachment and taking refuge in me. Like Krishna is saying that how you can come to me, how you can get transcendental for Krishna. So we have so many attachments, but one of the strongest attachment is also attachment to sense desire, sense enjoyment. So how we can deal with, like we have so much desire to enjoy our senses, and we are not able to control our senses, so how we can deal with it?
Prabhupada will explain you should Krishna-ize. Krishna-ize your senses. Senses by nature, they're doing something for the body. Seeing something, smelling, touching something for the body's satisfaction. But actually Krishna's body is so much more beautiful than our body. If you got darshan of Krishna right now, you won't be thinking about taking care of your body, of doing whatever, not the men so much, but sometimes people are decorating so much the body. So many things we're doing for the body. If you saw Krishna's body, you're not worried about what our body is. His body is so beautiful. It's like captivating. So he's waiting for each one of us, you know. It's just up to us when we want to go there and see him. So his body likes to try to enjoy things, so we have to transfer all those senses, they have to be spiritualized. Eyes want to see something beautiful, right? Yes, young boys, students, we want to see something beautiful. I know how it works. Wow, so beautiful. She's so beautiful. Mind is telling us that if we saw Krishna, Srimati Radharani, then the beauty here is like the insects, like the frogs or something. There's no beauty. Who's the source of beauty? Krishna. Hamsarvasukha, everything. And yet Vibhuti Man. Any beauty you thought you saw, it's the spark. Just a spark, Prabhuji. Just a little, nothing. that beauty, that's real beauty. Shringar. So the eyes, its nose. We're not so much into nose smelling. Something nice is there, we like it. But some nice food is there. Oh, we get attracted. So only cooking and taking prasad. It sounds easy. It's hard to do. I don't know many devotees who only take freshly, nicely prepared Krishna prasad. I don't know many. In my whole Krishna consciousness, it's rare. Because a little bit here, little snacks here, it's there, keep a little stash here. It's from the store. It's okay, Prabhu. Don't be fanatic. But taking only prasad, that's a nice smell. That you can honor. Wow. But try to honor the bhakti. Tongue dragging us here and there. We're trying to control the tongue. Therefore we can prepare nice things, but for Krishna's pleasure. Taking only nice prasad. It will affect your consciousness. Mahaprabhu says when you eat the grains cooked by non-devotees, it makes the mind wicked. Do you know this word wicked? It's like evil. So the karmi grains, it will weigh on us over time. Sometime maybe you have some emergency or whatever, but we should try not to make habits of these things. And then touch. We want to touch something. Yes.
Sleep in a blanket in winters.
Yes, stay warm.
Warmth.
And in summer, take bath in cold water. The body has its desires. So, the sense of touch, how do we purify the sense of touch? Does anyone know?
To treat that thing as it is Krishna's and respect it.
Yeah, always want to touch something, so here's something you touch. You touch a Vaishnava. Touch a pure devotee, advanced devotee. Touch their feet. Or give them a hug. Give them back massage. Touching with devotees purifies touch. Then we don't want to touch this, touch that. Otherwise, hands want to touch. Hey, touch it, Vaishnava. Then you'll be peaceful. If you touch anything else, you'll be very agitated. Only getting more agitation. Hearing, we want to hear some nice music. New Bollywood music came out, so nice. I don't know what music is there.
Gossip.
Yeah. So we have to hear about Krishna. So much more nectar. You get amrita if you hear about Krishna. But how often we hear about Krishna? Even in the base, how often we get to read Krishna book and discuss, and someone tells you, hey Prabhu, I heard this nice pastime. Maybe it happened, but not enough. And the material world news is always coming. On your phone it's popping up all the time. You cannot avoid it. So we think, oh, okay, let me see what's going on. Then we forgot, then Krishna's gone. Immediately gone. So we need to hear, and that's what we were discussing, that the great soul, he's always hearing. Satatam kirtayanto mam. You'll get much more happiness if you hear about Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Don't hear all the prajalpa of this material world. It just takes us down, puts us more in illusion. We're trying to wake the soul up. Jeev Jago. Sato Masakam, Tamasi Majotikam, Amrito Mahamritikam. We want to come out of illusion, and it's all based on hearing. It's a very big point. Prabhupada makes again and again. By hearing, we become bound. By hearing, we become liberated. You cannot see the sound, but the sound is the most influential. Because by sound, your intelligence is developing. By the sounds that you're around. You need to be around pure sounds, more and more devotees, and also more and more advanced devotees. Because their sound is more pure. It's coming from a deeper part of the heart, the consciousness. So we get purified by sound, not by seeing. Not by seeing a devotee, but by hearing from the devotees. Also we get purified by seeing, but unless you hear them, it's not enough. But I'd like to focus on hearing the pastimes of Krishna. Krishna manifests in this world, and he engages in so many beautiful pastimes just to capture our heart, just to steal our heart, just like he steals butter from the gopis. And then the gopis catch Krishna. They try to bring him to Mother Yashoda, but Krishna switched his form, and he manifests as that gopi's son. So Mother Yashoda saw him. She said, "He's your own." She said, and Krishna's doing all sorts of mischief, stealing butter from all the homes of Braj, but they like it. It's a game for them. Oh, our dearmost, our Prananath, he came and stole the butter again. We're so lucky. He came to our house. But you should be corrected. You should not allow this to go on. Sometimes they just see little butter footprints there. So that's in Krishna's youth. And then also so many times he's saving all his devotees. Great demons, asuras are coming. And they said, don't worry about Agasura. Don't worry about that. If it's a demon anyway, Krishna will save us. Let's go and play inside. They jump inside. Krishna gets bewildered. Oh no. What will happen? They went inside and got confused for a moment. Because he's also like a boy. But then, oh, okay. Now. I'm Krishna. I'm God. So I'll go inside. And then he finished the demon. All the time, every day. Some amazing transcendental activities are happening. They're going to the forest. The forest is so beautiful. The trees, they're made of crystal and gold. And they're offering all fruits and flowers. Vrindavan. The breeze is always going. And the cowherd boys, they're playing different games. They're living in a liberated condition. They don't have to worry about exams. They're relished. Then they brought a beautiful picnic, and they all sit around Krishna, and they can't believe, but Krishna's only looking at them. They're feeling, I'm so fortunate. But actually, Krishna's doing it with everyone. He's reciprocating all their love. Sometimes they take a preparation and say, oh, my mother made this is so good, Krishna, here, you try this. And it goes out to Krishna. So, oh yeah, that is very good. And then sometimes they take a flower and they say, my friend, I want to show you my preparation, okay? Open your mouth. Put a flower. And then when Lord Brahma saw this, he said, they say he's God, but look, he's just playing with his friends. How you can be God? You can't be God, he's just a cowherd boy. You know the pastime. So many pastimes, and then in midday time, then Krishna sneaks away. He goes to Radhakund. He goes to meet Radharani. Transcendental, internal potency of God. One soul, two forms, Radha and Krishna. Krishna is one, he's manifesting in two. So he's relishing his own internal energy. And then everyone is so mad here after having boyfriend, girlfriend. Why? Because there's a pure form in the spiritual world. Here it's impure. There it's pure. Their relationship, when they meet everything, they're getting purified. They're already pure, but their love is increasing, let's say it that way. Here, it's getting more attachment. The heart knot is binding. Mituni bhavam. Pumsastriya mituni bhavam. The greatest knot, man-woman relationship. Very strong. But there, that love is so pure. Anyone who speaks it, they get purified. Anyone who hears about that love, they become free from material lust. So then the gopis sometimes are joking, Lalita, she's getting angry at Krishna. Don't come around here anymore. But then Krishna becomes sad. So now how am I going to do this? It's all Leela. See, it's a minutiae. It's just like we're human. Krishna's the supreme human. His activities are supremely enchanting. It will capture a heart. But if you don't hear about that, then you have to hear about all the latest rapper, the latest cricket player, or whatever. And then our consciousness falls down. Similarly, Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so many amazing pastimes. His life, just like Krishna's pastimes. Then when Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's doing similar pastimes. one time one Brahmin came and he was so eager to see little baby Nimai, and he wanted to cook a feast and offer to the Lord's deity. So Mother Sachi Jagannath Mission, said, yes, come, we provide all the ingredients, you cook. So he was an elevated Brahmin, he starts cooking, he goes to make the offering, makes the offering, ring the bell, and then they say, okay, now we'll let Lord offer. And little Nimai comes, he came out of his room, he saw the offering, he starts eating. And they said, oh no! The offering is spoiled. And Jagannath Mishra said, come, I'll beat him. They said, no, he's just a baby. Don't hurt him. They said, please make the offering again one more time. We're so sorry. We keep our son secure in a room. He said, it's getting late. Okay, fine, I'll make it. So then he cooks a whole another offering again. Offers to the deity. And they kept Nimai in the room. Jagannath Mishra said, I'll guard the door. He's not going anywhere. So they kept him inside. Then somehow Nimai used his mystic power. Everyone got sleepy. They all start feeling sleepy. So Nimai sneaks out the room, comes back, sees the food. There was actually 3 times. I'm jumping to the 3rd time. There was one more time before that also, where he stole it. Then they finally got him to cook one last time. This is the last time. Then Nimai came, he started eating, and the Brahmin saw again. It's the details. I'm remixing the 2nd and 3rd time, because actually the last time they kept him in a different house. But then everyone got sleepy, so Nimai came, he said, hey, I see you again, what are you doing? He said, you're calling for me, so I'm coming to take the offering. He said, don't you remember me? In my last life you also came to see me, in Vrindavan. I was bluish, and you came, and also you offered me at that time. And then he revealed to this Brahmin his transcendental reality, that he was Krishna himself, and this devotee was a great devotee of Krishna. So he reveals his beautiful transcendental, I'm not sure if it's his Sadbhuj form or Radha Krishna form, and he reveals in the Brahman is so amazed. Now I'm getting the Lord's darshan, the Lord of my life, who I've been serving for so many lifetimes now, personally appearing to me. But Nimai says, but you cannot tell anyone. So he says, okay. So then he goes back, and everyone wakes up, and they say, oh, okay, you took, he said, yes, I took. The prasad was nice, no problem. You cannot tell anything what happened. So then he has to go on living his life. He sees that Nimai is there, and that he's God, but he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, but he can't tell them. They're just taking Nimai as their little son. Sometimes Nimai's angry, he's breaking the pots. So many leelas are there. So that type of transcendental reality, it's so beautiful. It's much more beautiful than this world, where we have to worry about exams, laziness, and fear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So maybe we'll stop here. Unless any, what should we do, Prabhu?
Take some questions.
Questions? Any more questions?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
I called him, I saw him first.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Why is it taking too much time for developing the taste in bhakti?
Yeah, we had this question earlier today. It's a question of our investment. You know a little bit about investing. If you want to make a big profit, you have to invest a lot. Just investing little profit. How much are we investing? We have to ask ourselves, how much am I surrendering to this process, to bhakti? If I'm only investing a little bit, then I'll get a little taste. Still nice. But those who got a very powerful, deep taste, we have so many powerful acharyas, teachers, gurus, what do? They gave everything. They said, okay, I'm in. I just do this now. I spent so many lifetimes doing everything else. This life, let's go all in. Do you know the phrase all in? In gambling, playing cards. At a certain point, you have such good cards, or you're bluffing, depending, that you say, I'm all in. It means all my chips, I'm giving everything. I have nothing else, and then let's see what happens. That's what they did to get the taste, to get that high taste, to give, to go all in. So that we're working to build up to that level where we say, yes, Krishna, I'm all in. And then we see the taste that comes.
Prabhuji, my question is, you said in the beginning that we have to expert in both spiritual life also and as well as material life as well as a devotee. So how can we manage being an expert in both? Like if we are doing something in advancing material life, then there is a decrease in spiritual life. Okay, because outside devotees association we have to be like double faced, like how to deal with the person in front of us and how to be pure as well.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately we have to be expert in spiritual life. Because if you're expert in spiritual life, that will include your material life. So it's not necessarily two different things. You just become spiritual expert, then you problem solve. That means you, at a point you go deep in bhakti, and then things become easier. Why? We're not wasting time. Now we're wasting so much time. Krishna's giving a little time and we're wasting it. We're going on the YouTube, on Facebook, and then we're always behind. But when we learn how to use the time very carefully for Krishna service, then more time comes. So time utilization. There's enough time in the day. We're not using it properly. So if we become very expert in spiritual life, then automatically in material life. We don't have to be a big fancy materialist. We don't want to be extravagant in material life. When you want to do the bare minimum, like we were talking about working, Prabhupada says one should not work more than 8 hours per day. Why? Because the spiritual life is most important. So if I work only 8 hours, then morning I can do nice morning program associated with devotees, and evening also nice program. That's the only way. Otherwise, working life is just suffering. It's really hard to do the working life and devotional life in Kali Yuga. It's very difficult. It's a struggle. So, some may do, some may not do. Some may say, I don't need to do that. You have a beautiful temple here, everything provided. I can just serve Krishna. That's one option. If I have to work, then I have to be expert. I have to be very strong in spiritual life so that I'm not just a robot, working AI bot. So, if we're expert in spiritual life, what happens? You'll get empowered. You need to be empowered. Right now our problem, we're not empowered.
Yes.
We're empowered by material nature. So therefore our mind is going. But if we need to get spiritual empowerment from Guru, from Vaishnavas, from Krishna, then we can be very strong. Whatever you do better. And you use less time. You're more efficient, more wise, better influence for others. All that will come. But it takes this intense endeavor in bhakti. You can't do it materially. If someone is doing that materially, it's like a show. They're not really, it's just fake. If they're not doing spiritual life, no matter what position they have or anything, it's not strong. It will be broken eventually. But spiritual strength, then you can do everything. Prabhupada was chemist. He has a business. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 10 children. How you can manage 10 children? And be a high court judge. Is it possible? We talk about time management. He wrote 100 books. He knew how to manage things. So, you have to go deep in bhakti. Bhakti, we should not get stuck on the surface level. If we only stay surface, then we may not stay. Prabhuji is telling me the stats, how many bhaktas come, and over time how many stay. It's not many. If we stay only on the top level, the surface, then there's no guarantee we'll stay. We can be dragged by the waves of the material world. But if you go deep, somehow or other you make it your priority and you go deep in your spiritual life, then you can find out what this is really about. Okay?
Hare Krishna. My question is how to make our material study a spiritual activity.
To make your material study.
Like we are cooking for ourselves for sense gratification, then it's material, and we are cooking for Krishna, it's spiritual. So how we make our material study a spiritual activity?
How to make our
material study like
Material studies,
Material
spiritual
studies.
activity
a spiritual activity.
for Krishna.
The fruit of your material study will be if you use that eventually you'll utilize that for some future purpose. It's like you're getting on a bus. You say, how will I take this step on the bus in a spiritual way? It depends what you do when you get on the bus and where you go. So you're doing your schooling, okay, it's like a preparation. So it depends what you do with that. If you are going to eventually work a job and you use that in Krishna's service, then it all will be fruitful. So that means then working a job, not necessarily, but in one scenario, then with that job, it's not that I'm just a worker. Now I'm using that to purify myself. So then I offer the fruits of my work to Krishna. Then it becomes yajna. That means I give some percentage of my earnings. That's the grihastha duty. Their path of sacrifice would be to sacrifice with the hard-earned fruits, working very hard to get some little money. Then I have to offer that money to Krishna. That's their work. Then someone may not take that. They may finish their school and then join the ashram. They also have to work hard. They cannot be lazy. They work hard for Krishna. And therefore then their study, everything, it allowed them to transition to full-time monk life. And then that way they're serving Krishna, then it became useful. It served its purpose, we could say. Because in India, it's not very good if you don't go to school. In my country, many people, they stop school. I went to 2 years university, then I left. I said bus. So it will depend how you're able to utilize it in Krishna's service. I'm sorry, I can't give you a better answer than that. That's what I understand. Yes, Ruhi.
Firstly, as you mentioned about the time management.
Oh, I was calling this food.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, my question is that in process of bhakti, how can we get indication that we are advancing?
If you're getting taste for chanting, that's the ultimate measure. There's many things. We can feel inspired. We can feel humble in a positive way, not in a disempowering way. Happy. But the ultimate is the taste for chanting. And that's the measure of our progress. What does that mean? That means someone could be they could be practicing a long time, they could have very high position, but if they're not getting taste in chanting, they may not be so advanced. And someone may be new devotee, or not having big high position, not doing that much external service, but they have a great taste. Then the taste is indicating the purification of heart. So, yeah, we cannot see someone's advancement. It's not just by the externals. Therefore, the internal life is very important. You have to get your own taste, and you have to find your own, just like we were telling some pastimes, find our own attraction for that world. And that's our depth of the devotee. Okay? Oh, you have a question?
It's very. Can I ask one question? As you mentioned about the time management, can you provide a glimpse of your routine? Like how your days?
I'm not very good time manager.
Uh,
Don't want to know like that. I'm not very accomplished in this.
like how's your reading schedule, like daily Prabhupada book reading, and which book you have read last time? What's
So
your favorite?
You want to know my schedule
Yeah,
or
like,
my that it
regarding the book readings of Prabhupada's.
regarding reading Prabhupada's books?
Yes.
How you manage times and do your spiritual activities.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a phase now where I'm like kind of a traveling monk, preacher, distributor. So I was recently at Mayapur.
Yeah.
I got to spend 2 months in Mayapur.
Very well.
So now I'm traveling, so I don't have a set schedule. But there, I wake up, we observe Mangalarti and chant japa in morning time. Chant all japa. And then after some years of practicing, you can, 16 rounds is minimum. It's not maximum. So we chant some extra rounds also. It's very helpful. Then we do some scriptural study, like Bhakti Vaibhav, studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So reading that and doing some academic spiritual study, There's exams, there's questions like that. It's a very nice program. And then I will be meeting usually with some friends for prasad, and over prasad we'll discuss spiritual topics. We'll discuss different pastimes or different aspects of philosophy. And then I'm managing some preaching, so I'm trying to, small degree, but organizing some future preaching engagements or corresponding with devotees. And then I'm making some audio recordings of certain books to share with devotees. I want to send them the recording because they may not find time, but if it shows up in their WhatsApp, they'll find it. So that's more reading. And then I was making time in Mayapur for book distribution every day. We're trying to do 1 hour every day. And it doesn't sound like much, but people are very favorable in Bengal, so you can do maybe 30 books in 1 hour. So doing that every day is giving me a lot of boost. Then I would go for Gaur Aarti. That's so wonderful to worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After our day is done, it's nice, good for mind. After our stress and study everything, then come back and remember Lord Chaitanya and his associates. Then evening I'll go to one Sadhu Sangha program, nightly, where we'll have kirtan. We'll hear from a Maharaj, and then take some hot milk. Try to chant some prayers or remember some astikam. Try to, again, bring the mind to something nice before going to sleep. That's the positive side I can share.
Which verse, like mostly referred in Bhagavad Gita, which verse you are like to recommend for the student, like for us? Or which verse from Bhagavad Gita?
From Bhagavad Gita.
Favorite verses from Gita?
Like you would like to refer, or which will that will refer you mostly whenever you find.
Well, I quoted one verse that I always liked very much. It's in the 4th chapter. Let me find the exact numbers so I can tell you. 438. This could be relevant for students also. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddha kalinatmani vindati. In this world there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So, nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. There's nothing so pure as this transcendental knowledge. That's like our birthright. spiritual birthright, to be infused with transcendental knowledge. So that's when the consciousness becomes clear. That's
One
one
more
verse.
follow-on question, like, can I ask one?
Yes.
Like, as you mentioned about that, you also read about the different philosophical aspects of the scriptures. So, like, in our studies, we also read about the different philosophers, like Western philosopher, Indian philosopher, and different streams of the bhakti. So many times it happens, it creates speculations in the dimensions, like what our understanding of the spirituality according to the disciplic succession in the ISKCON, and according to the other interpretation of the scriptures by the other
In
streams
the
of the
university?
Yes,
of course, in universities and like in our education system itself.
Oh no.
There have been different like philosophers,
Different school of thoughts are there.
different school of
Yeah,
thought
of
in
course. I studied a lot of philosophy.
yeah, like the atheistic Sankhya philosophy of Kapila,
atheistic, agnostic,
and,
gnostic.
and then the Vaisheshik philosophy Sankhya
They
and
teach this in
Veda,
university.
Yeah, there
and
seems
Sankaracharya
Yeah.
philosophy. So we study that in our courses. So that creates some kind of doubts in our mind, and so he's asking about that, how to deal with that.
Well, you have to see who is practicing what they preach. You can have some materialists teach you about the soul, but then they go and smoke and drink, and so what is the value of that? It's just theory. So that's the problem. That modern education, they're just teaching theoretical knowledge, but not realized knowledge. Therefore, it's not so valuable. So, when you come to the center, ISKCON, or you go to a temple, then you hear some philosophy, but it affects you. So we should have faith in Prabhupada. We have faith in Prabhupada. No? It's hard to not have faith in Prabhupada. Prabhupada is so powerful. So when you have doubts, you go to Prabhupada and you watch his video, or you see his photo, or you listen to his lecture, or you read his books. Everything will be clear. Don't worry. He will clarify who's who and what's what. Which ones are the fools and rascals?
I was attending philosophy lessons in my university. I had philosophy honors. So there was a professor there. He taught philosophy, and in that aesthetics he taught. In our third year he taught us. So couple of years back, like when I passed out, so I read in newspaper and in news also, and my friend texted me that that professor committed suicide, and he was deep into alcohol addiction and serious problems in life, and he committed suicide. So it was big news in the university, overall news was there. And he was teaching philosophy, Indian philosophy, Western philosophy, but he was not applying that in his life. I don't.
Or maybe he was applying the wrong philosophy. So we need the Evam Padam Praptam. We need to be in the right disciplic succession. It might have been Apa Sampradaya, or
Yeah.
wrong Sampradaya, bogus. But here we have very powerful Sampradaya, very active. So hearing from devotees, that's solution.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, my question is related to that verse spoken by Krishna, like Tasmat Sarve Sukali Sukhamanusmaryudhasya. So in student life or working life, how we can practically apply this? Because many times during our studies or working, we don't even try to think about Krishna. But Krishna is saying that while working you will remember him. So how it is practically feasible for us?
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmarayuta cha maya pitamino buddhi mam nevasasya samsaya. So you're saying you know this principle, but it's hard to apply?
Yes.
What is your experience of trying to apply this?
Most of the time when I am working in job or studying, I not able to remember this. exercises in our life, so that we can remember more and more about Krishna simultaneously working.
In many verses, Krishna says that remember me, man mana bhav mat bhakto. I think that shloka also. In many verses, he says that try to remember me. But I also apply this principle and try to remember Krishna. Remember his, and in lectures, Maharaj is told that tell that try to remember Krishna, his lotus feet, and it is path of success. That if you remember lotus feet of Krishna, then you will be steady in bhakti and you cannot fall down. But it's very hard to, we try to remember, but then eventually we forget.
Well, one thing is that you cannot force yourself to remember something you're not attracted to. If there's some girl, but you don't think she's very attractive, someone tells you think of her, you won't think of her, you're not attracted to her. On the other hand, someone very attractive, you like very much, you can't stop thinking of them. Is it true? So if we can develop gradually some attachment, appreciation for Krishna, then naturally one will think of him. So how to get that? That's what we need. And therefore hearing the leelas, hearing the pastimes, if you don't do that, you can't get attracted to Krishna. It's very practical, but I think it's very difficult. Every time I say it, it's hard. I don't know who will apply. We'll nod our head. Already we forgot what I said 10 minutes back. Already we forgot. So I'm just saying again. So yeah. And also then the process of purification. It's not that I can remember someone if my lifestyle is not aligned. It's not like I can just go out, do anything and remember Krishna. The remembrance of Krishna will come if I'm automatically doing bhakti dharma. If I'm doing my dharma in the high sense, paradharma, then it will be aligned. But it's like if I go over here and let's say I go to the bowling alley, then I'm wondering why, because it's not aligned with Krishna consciousness. So if one is really aligned, then they're doing their work just for satisfying Krishna, who are offering the fruits of their work to Krishna. Then you can remember Krishna, because you're doing you have to do some service, like you have to distribute books or something. So it's not that every moment you're thinking about Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra when you're distributing a book. No, you're talking to someone. I'm not remembering Krishna at that time. I'm saying, hey, are you a student? Oh, what do you study? Where are you from? Oh, you have kids? I'm not thinking of Krishna at that time. But I'm giving them the book. They may be making a donation. And then I'm doing that many hours. And when I'm done, so much mercy is coming then. Then when I sit to read, wow. So it may not happen at that moment, but because it's a dharmic bhakti dharma, then the mercy is coming there. And it's not making me forget Krishna, but that is a very high level where you can always think of Krishna. That means bhava bhakti, what we're reading here. There's no deviation. But the more we can align with dharmic life, so then the grihastha dharma is, donating the fruits of the work. Because we're attached, we want those fruits. So, I work so hard for those fruits. Sorry, you have to give it away. Then you'll be purified by that work. Hare Krishna. So I can answer, but it's getting late now. Maybe, I don't know your schedule. you're students after all, so.
Please leave late.
I don't want to be hypocritical and tell you things and then keep you past your schedule, but if we can go, we can keep going.
Yeah, maybe
Got it.
15 minutes more.
Okay.
10 minutes more.
Time to
Right. Last question.
Roji,
I think
Roji, as you said in the middle, like I am all in. That
You're all
means-
in?
You said that.
Well, you're telling me now.
No. You said that some acharyas said that I am in this life, I am all in this only. So, if a person is person should pray to Lord that, oh Lord, please make some arrangement as you want me to do something, or I am leaving everything on you. Whatever you want me to do, I am okay with that. Whatever you want. You want me to be all in your service, or you want me to be in this only. So how should we pray?
Yeah, that's how you should pray.
That's
You should pray like that. Please allow me to understand what you'd like me to do. This is what Arjuna prayed to Krishna. Shishyaste amam shalimantam papanam. Now I surrender to you. You tell me what to do. So we should try to have this mood to Krishna. I don't know what's best for me, but you know. May it be apparent to me. May you make it apparent which path I should take, what's best for me, what's suitable. That's a very good prayer. No? You're looking for something else?
No, Prabhuji. I want to.
You may not know. You may not know. But gradually, you try to hear that voice of Krishna, that God's voice in our heart. They call it the conscience. It's Paramatma. How much we can try to hear that heart, Krishna in your heart. What do you think? So what else?
No, Prabhuji.
like Krishna Guru, as a student, how much rounds we have to chant? Like basically, I'm from connected ISKCON Dwarka. So some devotees of my batch chanting 16 rounds daily, but I'm not able to increase my rounds more than 8 due to time management, or I chant so much. I require so much time to chant one round. So what is the minimum rounds we have to chant as a student?
So we cannot give an exact answer to this question. It's a very specific question. It depends on every individual, their circumstance, everything. So how many rounds you should chant?
Minimum.
I mean, we hear sometimes that it's not about number of rounds, it's about quality. So if we're chanting better rounds, even if it's less, maybe better than just trying to move the beats. So I got 16, now I throw the bag. No. That's not good. That's not good either. So it sounds like you're being honest, like you're saying, hey, I'm not there yet. But if you get quality, then quantity will come. Because if we're doing good quality, then we'll be able to chant more. And naturally it will come. It will be able to chant more. So go to the quality of trying to pronounce correctly the Maha Mantra, hearing it, and then it will increase.
Minimum round for minimum time.
Ideally for any bhakta, any devotee, we want to be chanting 16 rounds. If we're not yet chanting 16, we may not be protected from Maya. So we want to very soon come to 16 rounds per day. But we should do it in an intelligent way and not just jump up chanting bad rounds, because then we can easily jump back away. So therefore we're taught you should gradually increase. Okay, I'm doing 4 rounds every day, now I'm steady with 4, now I can go 8 every day, now I'm steady with 8, now I can go 12 every day, I'm steady with 12, then I can go 16 every day like that. Generally something like this is recommended.
What is the maximum time for one round?
The maximum time for one round?
I take 12 minutes for one round.
12 rounds? Okay.
12 minutes for one round. What is maximum?
Well, there's no such thing as maximum or minimum because everyone is different. We just have general guidelines, like general experience of devotees, that usually around 7 or 8 minutes we give. If we're doing more than that, we wonder how focused we are. Maybe we're very focused and it's taking 12 minutes. But in my experience, if rounds are taking long time, it's usually because the focus is not there. Sometimes if we're chanting faster, we can be even more focused because we don't have time to space out. Because mantra's going, I have to focus. So, it may be a rare case that someone's chanting of 12, 15 minutes rounds, but they're really absorbed. That may be good. But generally, I think from what I recall, we recommend like 7 minutes or so. And then when we're getting more adept, then we can go 5 minutes or less because it's coming more more smoothly. You find out what works for you. Yeah, if you're doing 12-minute rounds, then it will take a long time to chant 16 rounds. But you have to find out, make experiment, and see if they're trying to speed you up more than you feel comfortable. Then there's no rush. You don't have to. It's not as soon as you chant 16 that you're pure devotee and you're free from Maya. It's not like that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we thank Prabhuji for such a nice lecture and solving our doubts and giving his really precious time for coming to our base and solving all our doubts and clearing our problems. And we also want to tell Prabhuji that we expect you come every year or maybe every month in our base. It's not possible, I think, every month.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve.
No, Prabhuji had traveled from so far away from America to give for giving us association, and we are very thankful for his time. And by loudly chanting Hare Krishna mantra, we will thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you, and I can see you're doing a lot of kirtan. I can see devotees are good with instruments and they're absorbed in chanting. So this is our mainstay of devotional life, kirtan. So keep it up. Everyone can learn a little bit, do more and more kirtan. That's our shelter, and we can really go deep into that bhakti doorway in the chanting. And if any nights it's good, you're taking some notes. If any points caught your attention, try to stick with it. If it's very quick, something else will come.
Yes.
Hare
Hare Krishna.